No cameras were rolling. The BBC was on strike. Nobody filmed a single ball. What they missed became the greatest innings India never filmed. June 18, 1983, Tunbridge Wells, England, a small county ground in Kent. The kind of place where the boundary ropes sit close and crowd can't hear the batsman breathing. India are playing Zimbabwe in a World Cup group match. India are 17 for 5. Gavaskar gone, Srikanth gone, Amarnath gone, Yashpal gone, and Patil gone. 5 of India's best batsmen back in the pavilion before the scoreboard reached 20. The BBC was on strike that day. No crew had arrived. No cameras had been set up. The crowd started leaving. They had no idea what was about to walk to the crease. To understand what happens next, you need to understand what India were in 1983. They were not the favourites for anything. The West Indies, led by Clive Lloyds, armed with Roberts, Holding, Garner, Marshall, had won their previous 2 World Cup and were expected to win a third without any serious difficulty. India had never won the tournament. They arrived in England as 66-1 outsiders. Nobody was watching India that afternoon. Nobody expected anything from India that afternoon. There was nothing left to watch. Kapil Dev walked to the crease at number 6. He was 24 years old. He was from Chandigarh. He had grown up hitting the balls in dusty maidans, with none of the coached elegance of Mumbai cricket machine. He played with some closer to instinct than strategy. The situation was not recoverable, not by any rational calculations. What remained of the innings was expected to be a brief, unhappy formality. Well, Kapil Dev had other ideas. What followed over the next 2 hours and 20 minutes was batting that those present at Tunbridge Wells spent the rest of their lives trying to describe. He did not survive, he did not graft, he attacked, he drove, he pulled, he cut. He hit sixes over the mid-wicket that cleared the ropes with distance to spare. He hit fours through gaps that didn't look like a gap until the ball was already through them. The field had been set for a different kind of batsman. Nobody had told Zimbabwe what was coming. Wicket-keeper Srikanth, who was already at the crease when Kapil arrived, he held one end steady. Together they added 126 runs for the 9th wicket. Kirmani scored 24 of those. Kapil Dev scored the rest. And midway through the innings, back in the pavilion, Sunil Gavaskar was watching from his seat. Something was happening to him that he would only be able to describe years later. He stopped not believing it. When the innings ended, Kapil Dev was at 175 not out. He faced 138 balls, 16 fours and 6 sixes. India had reached 266 for 8. A total that, when the 5th wicket fell at 17, had seemed not merely unlikely but mathematically absurd. Zimbabwe were bowled out for 235. India won by 31 runs. Not a single ball of the innings exists on a video. The BBC had gone. No other camera crew captured what unfolded. The greatest inning India had ever produced exists only in the memories of the people who were there, and in a scorebook that recorded each run as it came. India went on to win the World Cup in 1983. They beat the West Indies in final at Lord's. Kapil Dev lifted the trophy on the Lord's balcony in an image that became one of the most reproduced photographs in India's sporting history. It triggered a transformation in how India funded cricket, valued it, identified with it. The generation that would make India the dominant force in world cricket grew up watching that photograph. But none of it happens without Tunbridge Wells. None of it happens if Kapil Dev, walking to the crease at 17 for 5, had played like a man who understood the situation was hopeless. When Gavaskar was asked, years later, what he felt watching from the pavilion as Kapil Dev's score climbed from 50 to 100 and from 100 to 150, he said something that has never been improved upon. We were watching and we could not believe it, and then we stopped not believing it. And by the time it ended, we were not even surprised anymore because it was Kapil. The BBC came back, they filmed the rest of the tournament, they filmed the final, they filmed the trophy. But the innings that made the trophy possible, the 175 that pulled India back from 17 for 5 on a quiet ground in Kent, with no cameras rolling and nobody watching in India, that innings they missed. And it became immortal precisely because they did. Was this the greatest inning India ever played under pressure, or was it something even rarer? A moment so complete it needed no audience. Tell me what you think.